Thank you. I'd like to talk to you today about 2012. 2012 has been declared by the United Nations to be the International Year of Co-operatives. The reason that they've decided to declare a cooperative year is because the UN wishes to increase public awareness about cooperatives and their contributions to socio-economic development and the achievement of the Millennium Development Goals. It wants to promote the formation and growth of cooperatives globally, and it wants to encourage governments to establish policies, laws and regulations conducive to the formation, growth and stability of cooperatives. And this is what Ban Ki-moon had to say. It's therefore an opportunity for us, first of all, to celebrate, to promote and to tell people about the sheer scope and scale of the cooperative movement worldwide. According to the International Cooperative Alliance, the cooperative movement brings together over 1 billion people around the world. And the UN estimates from 1994 said that the livelihood of nearly 3 billion people, or half of the world's population, was made secure by cooperative enterprise. Cooperatives provide over 100 million jobs around the world, which is 20% more than all the multinational companies put together. Last week I saw an even more startling statistic on a popular cooperative blog which claimed that the co-op movement has 1 trillion members. And I don't doubt that those are the latest verified figures from the Intergalactic Cooperative Alliance. So having an International Year of Cooperatives provides an opportunity to capture the attention of national governments, the business community, and most importantly for the UN and perhaps for Cooperatives UK, the general public, on the advantages of the cooperative model. It's sometimes said that the first 4 of the 7 cooperative principles, which are open and voluntary membership, democratic control of our enterprises, member economic participation and autonomy, are the 4 principles that define us as being co-ops. But it's the other 3 principles, education, or what perhaps in Spain they call formación, the creation of new generations of cooperators, cooperation between cooperatives, which is the 6th principle, and the development of sustainable communities. These are what make us a movement that considers itself as having the potential to change the world for the better. We've talked quite a lot since 2008 about new opportunities for cooperative and mutual enterprise. Another way of looking at it might be to say that for many millions of people in Europe and across the world, self-organising to find cooperative solutions to their need for food, homes and paid work, which enables them to contribute to the sustainable development of their own communities, is becoming a matter of necessity. Or as we sometimes say, necessity is the mother of cooperation. But just to go back to the scale of the movement, and I picked out a few key statistics, picked a country from each continent. Argentina, 12,670 co-ops with 9.3 million members, approximately 23.5% of the population. 4 in 10 Canadians are a member of at least one cooperative, and in Quebec, 70% of the population are co-op members. In France, 23 million people are members of one or more cooperative, or approximately 38% of the population. 75% of all agricultural producers are members of at least one cooperative, and 1 in every 3 people is a member of a cooperative bank. Cooperatives handle 60% of retail banking, 40% of food and agricultural production, and 25% of retail sales. And how about this? In Iran, there are over 130,000 cooperative societies with 23 million members, or approximately 33% of the population. In Kenya, 1 in 5 people is a member of a cooperative, or around 5.9 million, and 20 million Kenyans directly or indirectly derive their livelihood from the cooperative movement. And cooperatives are responsible for 45% of the gross domestic products of Kenya, 31% of national savings and deposits, 70% of the coffee market, 76% of the dairy market, and here we go, 90% pyrethrum and 90% of cotton. In Japan, 1 in every 3 families is a member of a cooperative. New Zealand, 40% of the adult population members of cooperatives and mutuals, 22% of GDP is generated by cooperative enterprise. And a very interesting one, which I've left out of this, which is very relevant to the UK and the cooperatives the UK is looking at very closely, is the Italian model of social cooperatives. And following on from what Gareth was talking about, in Italy, it's perhaps a bit of an overgeneralisation, but if you are an independent organisation that wishes to bid to provide social care or health care, you have to be a cooperative. And that's a great incentive for people to form cooperatives. Now, obviously, we can't transplant that, but it's clear that apart from the well-known Italian industrial worker cooperative model, they have an extremely strong social cooperative sector, which I'm sure we can learn from. So this is just a quick run-through of some of the major events that are happening globally during the international year and where they're happening. I'm not going into detail about any of these events, but the official launch is on the 31st of October, next week. There are conferences globally in Europe and around the world on credit, cooperative understanding, global challenges, cooperative banking. In Ghana, the cooperative Sandlanders, cooperative football clubs, are putting on a world cooperative football tournament. A credit union conference, a rural corporation conference in Ireland in September. And the World Cooperative Forum and Expo. So this is the culmination, this is the last big event of the International Year of Cooperatives 2012. It's in Manchester. It's a World Cooperative Forum. There may well be a virtual congress, 30th of October to the 20th of November. And I know that the organiser are aiming to have 10,000 people at that expo. So this is going to be a major event and a major focus for us next year. So the International Year of Cooperatives offers co-ops across the world a unique opportunity, a step change in the awareness of cooperatives and the differences they make in every corner of the globe. And the UK should be proud, as Peter mentioned earlier, that the cooperative model is one of the UK's most successful exports. Now, Cooperatives UK, which is the trade association for cooperative enterprise at home, it calls itself the Trade Association. It actually has many facets. It's the trade association, it's our political body. It's a trade association that has to represent the whole of the cooperative movement in the UK. It's the tiny cooperative community cooperatives, worker cooperatives, right up to the big consumer retailing co-ops. Has been working in partnership with the cooperative group and its members, and it will be coordinating an ambitious programme of national activity in the UK to raise awareness of cooperatives, because we think this is a once-in-a-generation opportunity to change the game in terms of public awareness of the cooperative model and the cooperative principles. So the plans include a singular graphic mark that all cooperatives can use and campaign under to highlight 4 key themes. The local impact of cooperatives on a global scale, how cooperatives share, that cooperatives are owned by ordinary people, and the vibrancy of the cooperative sector. These are going to be the things we're campaigning around. And this is the mark that we've come up with in the UK. It's not intended to replace the international mark, which I showed you earlier on, which was in the first slide. But it emphasises that this is a United Nations event. And in the UK, we've adopted the message, we build a better world. It's that straightforward. And it takes the graphical part of the UN logo. And what we're inviting all our members, all cooperatives, all supporters of cooperatives, people who want to organise around cooperative communities, to use this mark in their communications during the year and to join us to actually really try and multiply, push out the message to the general public, the messages we want to put out about the cooperative model. So to enable cooperatives to make the most of the opportunity, Cooperatives UK will be giving its members some key resources before the start of 2012, and in fact it's already started. There will be a 2012 mark, so there's another, our message, our next message after We Build a Better World is this one: make it cooperative, make your activity cooperative, make your events cooperative, make your new initiatives cooperative. The website will be a hub for all the UK activities. There'll be a sector-wide communications calendar to provide a consistent voice over the year, and a host of supporting materials will be made available to cooperatives, from toolkits to films, images and social media content. And this is actually a visual. This is my day job, by the way, as a communications designer. This is one of the best jobs I'll ever get to do, which is to turn these messages into good information. This was at design stage, but actually this website went live today. So uk.coop/2012 is the website. Basically what we're looking at is a simple, flexible call to action that asks different audiences to make what they're doing cooperative, to show that individual actions can help build a better world. It reflects the need for something relevant, dynamic and engaging for people to get involved with. And the idea is that Cooperatives UK will be working really closely with the cooperative group, with the cooperative retail trading group, and our diverse members from the credit union sector to the housing cooperative sector to our industrial worker cooperatives to rural cooperatives to really build momentum during the year. We want a consistent message across the movement. And we've developed the text mark that you've seen, the Make It Cooperative text mark. We're providing the website as a hub and packs to help members promote their own cooperative and to actually sort of ride the wave, as it were. And of course, we're going to be doing a recruitment campaign encouraging cooperatives and mutual businesses to capitalise on 2012 and make it a cooperative year by joining Cooperatives UK. Reflecting, during 2012, we'll be having our third cooperative fortnight. We've just had some stats back from the 2011 cooperative fortnight, which is a Cooperatives UK initiative. In 2011, we had over 290 events, activities and promotions, which reached over 4 million people. More than 1.7 million people heard or talked about cooperatives online during the week. For the first time ever, cooperatives trended on Twitter. How about that? It was the second most popular topic after Cheryl Cole during that particular week. Over 100 media outlets covered the cooperative sector during the fortnight, from BBC Radio to the Financial Times, and the combined reach of all media coverage was over 145 million, meaning that every person in the UK would have been able to read about or hear about cooperatives 2 or 3 times during the fortnight. So with receptions, lectures and new reports, every UK politician had at least 3 opportunities to learn more about cooperatives. We had a campaign petition signed by over 7,000 people and supported by 38 organisations representing many more, including national businesses, charities and campaigning organisations like Groundwork UK, NUS, Nationwide and Friends of the Earth. And that's building towards the idea of taking the government up on its commitment to have a parliamentary debate when you have 100,000 signatures, so a parliamentary debate on cooperation and mutuality. So during 2012, we'll be looking at what success in our efforts to promote cooperation will look like. We want increased understanding of cooperatives amongst the UK population. We want large numbers of members and allies using 2012 as an opportunity to promote their cooperative values. And we want a large number of individual supporters of cooperatives getting involved in campaigns for cooperation in their communities. This is a leaflet that's gone out to all of our members just to promote the website essentially and to start to give people an idea of the calendar and the themes we'd like people to start taking up in their own communications. And there it is, 2012, the International Year of Cooperatives, We Build a Better World, Make It Cooperative. My final message is that Ian MacDonald from ICA Expo has his stall out there. The ICA Expo next year in November will be a tremendous opportunity to network and do business globally. So please do talk to Ian and take him up on that. Thank you very much, and have a good 2012. Thanks.